It was a warm Friday afternoon in downtown Raleigh, and the streets were alive with the usual buzz of traffic, pedestrians, and afternoon errands. Malik Johnson, a black teenager of 16, walked briskly down the sidewalk, earbuds in, music lightly humming through his headphones. He was on his way to meet friends at a nearby community center, carrying a backpack filled with books, notebooks, and personal belongings. Malik had grown up in a politically engaged family, his father serving as a respected state senator for several years. Though Malik's casual clothing and youthful demeanor masked the influence and prominence of his household. As Malik crossed the intersection, two uniformed police officers in a patrol car slowed and pulled up beside him. The taller of the two, a white officer with a stern expression, rolled down the window and called out sharply, "Hey kid, what are you doing here?" "Step over here." Malik paused, removing an earbud and responding politely but firmly, "I'm just walking home from school. I haven't done anything wrong." The officer's tone grew more insistent, his partner stepping out of the car, blocking the sidewalk in a way that made Malik uneasy, but still maintained a composed stance. Pedestrians glanced over, sensing tension and uncertainty in the air. The officers began questioning Malik aggressively, their demeanor shifting from standard procedure to harassment as they interrogated him about where he was going, why he was walking alone, and what he was carrying. Malik answered each question calmly, keeping his voice steady and his hands visible, demonstrating both composure and awareness. Despite his youth, he maintained an air of quiet confidence, aware that his conduct would be the most important factor in this tense encounter. The officers, misjudging him based on his age and appearance, continued to press, their impatience and bias visible in their body language. Suddenly, a black SUV pulled up to the curb, and Malik's father, Senator Anthony Johnson, stepped out. Dressed in casual yet refined clothing, he moved quickly toward the scene, exuding calm authority. The officers, previously aggressive and dismissive, froze as Senator Johnson approached. Malik looked up at his father with relief, while pedestrians stopped to watch the sudden change in energy. The senator's presence, commanding and composed, immediately shifted the dynamics of the encounter. He identified himself clearly and firmly, asserting authority and making it unmistakable that the teen he was defending was his son. The officers' expressions changed instantly, their earlier aggression replaced by shock, hesitation, and awkward recognition of the mistake they had made. Senator Johnson's calm but firm instructions made it clear that any further harassment or misconduct would have serious consequences. Malik stood silently, his composure intact, as his father addressed the officers, the shift in power unmistakable and immediate. Pedestrians whispered quietly, observing the dramatic reversal, as the officers reluctantly stepped back, their previous assumptions and bias confronted by the undeniable authority of the senator. By the time the situation was resolved and Senator Johnson escorted Malik safely to the curb, the lesson was clear to all who witnessed it. Assumptions, harassment, and casual disrespect can be instantly neutralized when met with authority, composure, and the recognition of true influence. Malik's calm demeanor, paired with his father's presence, had transformed a potentially humiliating encounter into an undeniable demonstration of the power of respect, authority, and proper conduct. As father and son walked away, the officers remained on the sidewalk, humbled and silent, absorbing the weight of the moment and the sudden reversal of control. The morning after the incident, Malik Johnson walked to school with a heightened sense of awareness, though he carried himself with the same quiet confidence he had always maintained. The city streets were busy with students, commuters, and pedestrians, yet Malik moved calmly, navigating the sidewalks with composed focus. Though the encounter with the police the day before had been unnerving, it had also reinforced lessons about resilience, composure, and the importance of presence. He remained mindful of his actions and posture, understanding that calm authority often speaks louder than any argument or outburst. At school, Malik's peers whispered quietly, some expressing surprise at what had happened, others discussing the sudden appearance of his father and the dramatic reversal of the situation. Malik carried himself without boastfulness, responding politely to questions, but never allowing the attention to alter his demeanor. Teachers and staff, aware of his father's role in the state senate, maintained professional awareness, but treated him as they would any student, recognizing that the respect he commanded was both inherent and reinforced through his calm, composed behavior. Throughout the morning, Malik focused on classes, completing assignments, and participating thoughtfully in discussions. He moved between classrooms with measured composure, interacting with classmates and teachers, politely but confidently. Even when minor disruptions occurred, Malik handled them with patience and poise, demonstrating a quiet maturity that extended beyond his years. The story of the previous day's encounter with the officers circulated quietly among students, serving as a reminder that assumptions and bias are often challenged by composure, intelligence, and authority. By afternoon, Malik met with a few friends at the community center, where he often volunteered and participated in mentorship programs. He spoke calmly and clearly, listening carefully to others, offering advice, and modeling respect and thoughtful behavior. Those around him noted the contrast between his quiet demeanor and the assumptions made by the officers on the street. His confidence and composure were evident without arrogance, and his ability to remain calm in difficult situations was inspiring. The lesson from the previous day extended naturally into his interactions. Authority and respect are earned and recognized, not assumed, and composure can transform even tense encounters into demonstrations of integrity. As the day ended, Malik walked home with the same measured confidence he had displayed all day, reflecting on the importance of composure, patience, and the subtle power of presence. The city streets were alive with evening activity, but he moved with awareness and assurance, fully conscious that his actions, attitude, and steady demeanor left impressions on those around him. The encounter with the officers and the sudden intervention of his father had provided a profound lesson in respect, perception, and the power of authority, one that Malik carried with quiet pride and calm confidence throughout the day. By midweek, Malik Johnson's life had returned to its usual rhythm, yet the memory of the street incident remained vivid, not as a source of fear, but as a quiet reinforcement of composure and awareness. The city streets of Raleigh bustled with morning activity, cars weaving through traffic, cyclists navigating lanes, and pedestrians moving briskly along sidewalks. Malik moved through it all with calm focus, aware of his surroundings, while maintaining the composed demeanor that had earned him respect in both school and community settings. Though he had encountered harassment, the intervention of his father had transformed the experience into a powerful lesson about authority, influence, and the consequences of assumptions. Throughout the morning, Malik attended classes with the same dedication and quiet confidence he always demonstrated. He answered questions thoughtfully, engaged in discussions with patience, and handled interactions with teachers and classmates in a composed manner. The story of the officer's harassment had circulated discreetly among students, reinforcing the idea that assumptions based on appearance are often false, and that respect is earned and recognized through maturity, composure, and behavior. Malik's calm and steady presence spoke volumes, leaving an impression on peers and staff alike. Later in the afternoon, Malik volunteered at a local community program, assisting younger students and participating in mentorship activities. His manner was attentive, considerate, and confident, demonstrating the same balance of humility and authority that had guided his reaction to the previous day's confrontation. Other volunteers and program attendees observed his demeanor, quietly noting the contrast between his composed behavior and the earlier assumptions made by the officers. Every interaction reinforced the lesson that patience, professionalism, and calm authority can transform tense situations and inspire respect without confrontation. As the afternoon progressed, Malik and his friends walked through the neighborhood, discussing school, extracurricular activities, and future plans. Malik listened carefully, offered thoughtful responses, and maintained a steady, assured demeanor, reflecting the discipline and composure instilled by his upbringing. The incident with the officers and his father's intervention had left a lasting impression, shaping Malik's understanding of authority, human behavior, and the subtle ways in which respect is earned. By the time Malik returned home, he carried with him the quiet satisfaction that comes from knowing that his calm composure, combined with the influence of his father's authority, had not only protected him, but also imparted a lesson in dignity and respect to all who witnessed the encounter. By the following morning, Malik Johnson had settled back into his daily routine, walking the city streets with the same quiet confidence and awareness that had guided him since childhood. The city hummed with morning activity, cars, buses, and pedestrians filling the sidewalks. Yet Malik moved with a composed focus, mindful of his surroundings, but unshaken by the memory of the previous encounter. The officer's harassment and the sudden intervention of his father had reinforced a profound understanding. Composure, presence, and calm authority can neutralize even tense situations, and respect is recognized when backed by influence, experience, and maturity. Throughout the day, Malik attended classes, participating thoughtfully in discussions, and handling interactions with peers and teachers in a calm and respectful manner. Whispers about the incident had circulated quietly among students, serving as a subtle reminder that assumptions based on appearance are often flawed. Malik's calm demeanor, steady voice, and confident posture communicated authority and maturity far beyond his years, leaving an impression on those around him. Even those who had been unaware of his father's position could sense the quiet power in his presence, the kind that commands attention without the need for aggression or displays of dominance. Later in the afternoon, Malik met with friends at a local community center, engaging in discussions about school projects, extracurricular activities, and neighborhood events. He offered guidance, listened attentively, and responded thoughtfully, demonstrating the balance of humility and quiet authority that had always defined him. The incident with the officers served as a backdrop for reflection, reminding him that composure and dignity are the most powerful tools in confronting prejudice or assumptions. Friends and younger students observed the ease with which Malik navigated conversations and challenges, subtly reinforcing the lesson that respect is earned through consistent behavior, maturity, and self-assurance. By evening, Malik walked home through the city streets, his backpack slung over one shoulder, carrying both books and a quiet sense of accomplishment. The sun cast long shadows on the sidewalks, and pedestrians moved past him, unaware of the recent lessons unfolding in their city. Malik reflected on the week's events, understanding that the encounter on the street was more than a confrontation. It had been a lesson in the subtle dynamics of respect, authority, and perception. His father's intervention had highlighted the power of influence, while Malik's own composure had demonstrated the strength of calm, confident behavior. Together, the experience reinforced a truth that would stay with him for years. Dignity, patience, and presence command respect in ways that arrogance or hostility never can. By midweek, Malik Johnson's understanding of composure and influence had deepened, and he moved through his days with a heightened awareness of both his own behavior and the reactions of those around him. The city streets of Raleigh bustled with pedestrians, cars, and the hum of daily life. Yet Malik maintained his calm, measured pace, aware of his surroundings, but unshaken by the memory of the officer's harassment. Each step was deliberate, a reflection of the balance between youthful energy and the composure he had cultivated through years of guidance and experience. The incident had become a quiet lesson in perception. Respect is earned, authority is recognized, and assumptions can be shattered by composure and presence. Throughout the morning, Malik attended classes and participated in school activities with his usual diligence. His interactions with classmates and teachers were calm, confident, and thoughtful, signaling maturity beyond his years. Some students whispered about the previous week's incident, remarking on the sudden reversal when his father had arrived, while others watched quietly, absorbing the subtle message of dignity and authority that Malik consistently demonstrated. Even without his father's presence, Malik carried the same quiet power, knowing that calm behavior and composure often speak louder than words or status alone. Later in the afternoon, Malik volunteered at a local mentorship program, working with younger students and participating in community initiatives. His demeanor was attentive and respectful, yet confident, offering guidance without arrogance and modeling behavior that commanded natural respect. Observers noted the contrast between his composed approach and the assumptions made by the officers the day before. Every interaction reinforced the lesson that authority and respect are recognized when they are grounded in behavior, composure, and consistent maturity. The mentorship activities allowed Malik to demonstrate leadership subtly, teaching by example rather than by assertion, leaving a lasting impression on those around him. By evening, Malik walked home through the busy streets, his backpack slung over his shoulder, reflecting on the lessons of the past week. He understood that the encounter with the officers had been more than a personal challenge. It had been a lesson in perception, authority, and respect, one that extended far beyond that single moment. His father's intervention had highlighted the influence of position, but Malik's own calm, composed behavior had demonstrated that true authority can manifest even without titles. Each step home reminded him that dignity, patience, and steady composure are powerful tools, and that respect is earned and observed quietly, often leaving more profound impact than immediate confrontation ever could. By the following week, Malik Johnson had settled comfortably into his daily routines, carrying himself with the quiet assurance that came from the lessons of the previous encounter. The streets of Raleigh were busy with morning commuters, delivery trucks, and pedestrians. Yet Malik navigated them with calm composure, aware of his surroundings and mindful of his behavior. Though the memory of the officer's harassment lingered, it no longer carried fear or frustration. Instead, it reinforced the understanding that composure, awareness, and quiet confidence command respect even in tense situations. His father's intervention had demonstrated the power of position and influence, while Malik's own demeanor had shown that personal conduct can communicate authority just as effectively. Throughout the morning, Malik engaged in his schoolwork and extracurricular activities with steady focus. Teachers noted his maturity and attentiveness, while classmates responded to his quiet confidence with respect rather than judgment. The story of the incident circulated discreetly, becoming a lesson for peers in the consequences of assumptions and the impact of composure under pressure. Malik's calm interactions with others, whether answering questions, participating in discussions, or helping classmates, reflected the subtle authority he had learned to wield, the kind that earns recognition without demanding it. Later in the afternoon, Malik participated in a community volunteer project, guiding younger students and organizing activities with careful attention. He demonstrated leadership through example, modeling patience, thoughtfulness, and composed decision-making. Observers, both adults and peers, noticed the contrast between his behavior and the assumptions made by the officers the week before. Each interaction reinforced the quiet but undeniable lesson. Respect is earned through consistent behavior, measured composure, and the ability to remain calm in challenging situations. Malik's actions communicated authority and maturity, leaving lasting impressions on those who witnessed them. By evening, Malik walked home through the city streets, reflecting on the week's events and the lessons learned. He understood that the encounter with the officers had provided both a personal test and a subtle teaching moment, demonstrating the enduring power of composure, dignity, and awareness. His father's presence had immediately shifted the situation, but it was Malik's own calm and confident behavior that had solidified the respect of those around him. As he approached his home, the city lights casting long shadows on the sidewalks, Malik carried with him the understanding that respect, authority, and influence are recognized when grounded in patience, composure, and earned credibility, shaping perceptions long after a single encounter has ended. By the end of the week, Malik Johnson had fully absorbed the lessons of the previous encounters, moving through his daily life with calm confidence and quiet authority. The city streets of Raleigh were alive with activity, yet Malik navigated them with measured focus, aware of his surroundings, but unshaken by the memory of the officer's harassment. The intervention of his father, Senator Anthony Johnson, had demonstrated the immediate power of influence, while Malik's own composed demeanor had reinforced the enduring value of personal conduct, patience, and dignity. Together, these experiences left an indelible impression on both Malik and all who had witnessed the events. Throughout the day, Malik attended school, participated in community programs, and interacted with peers with the same calm assurance that had defined his behavior since the incident. Teachers, classmates, and program coordinators responded to him with attentive respect, recognizing the quiet authority that comes from consistent composure and maturity. The story of the confrontation circulated discreetly among students and staff, highlighting how assumptions and bias can be instantly overturned by composure and presence. and how respect is always earned through behavior and character rather than superficial judgments. Later in the afternoon, Malik continued his mentorship work at the community center, guiding younger students and offering thoughtful advice. His calm, measured approach left a lasting impression on those around him, demonstrating leadership through example rather than assertion. Even casual observers could sense the difference between those who rely on arrogance or assumption and someone whose authority and respect are grounded in composure, skill, and character. Malik's behavior provided a clear, quiet lesson in dignity, showing that true influence does not need to be proclaimed. It is recognized naturally by all who witness it. By evening, Malik returned home, walking through the bustling city streets with calm assurance and confidence. The sun set over the skyline, casting a warm glow over the sidewalks and buildings. He reflected on the events of the week, aware that the encounter with the officers had been more than a moment of personal confrontation. It had been a lesson in perception, respect, and the subtle power of composure. His father's intervention had shifted the immediate dynamic, but it was Malik's own calm, confident presence that solidified the lesson for everyone involved. As he approached his home, Malik carried with him the understanding that dignity, patience, and composure command respect in ways that authority alone cannot, and that the impressions we leave on others are shaped as much by how we carry ourselves as by any position or title we hold.